Good morning, YouTube. JC here. So this morning, and the reason I'm bringing up this topic is because I got a knife in last week. Finally got one. Took me literally years to get one of these. And yeah, I could have gone on eBay and fed the vultures and overpaid for it, but I don't like doing that really. I've done it before. I did it once before and I kind of regretted it, but you know, it ain't the end of the world. It was a knife I wanted at the time, and now I ended up having several that I ended up getting, and it wasn't really worth it to do it. So it was okay though. You know, I still enjoy the knife, and it happens. But got a Microtech in, and as you see from the description, you already know what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and act like try to hide it, but I got a Socom Elite manual, and I got the one it's two-tone, I think is what they call it. It should be right here in the box. Should be two-tone, but it just says Socom Elite SE standard. But, you know, as you can see, it's the two-tone version. They do have a regular standard version, and I ended up getting this from Blade HQ. And when I got this one, I went and looked. I'm like, because you know the text message popped up because I've had on there for a long time, and I didn't see. Usually a lot of people like Metal Complex, a couple other people, they'll let you know if there's something out that's coming out. You know, like he gave everybody a heads up on the full-size Demcos that were coming up. I forget where they were, but anyways, this was over last week. I ended up not getting one. I didn't have the money because I just got one of these puppies, but I already have two of the Demco, the S's, the 20 S's. So, you know, it wasn't something I could really afford at the time anyways, because I just bought this puppy. But the problem with waiting a long time like I did, the price goes up every so often, and then you're paying for it. But it is what it is. I like kind of the hunt, I guess, so to speak, to where, you know, you're looking for a knife, and you know, it's kind of the thrill of trying to find one for yourself. And I had a bunch of opportunities. Excuse me, it's still early. I need a sip of coffee here. But I had a bunch of opportunities to get like the serrated blade or the Tanto blade. I didn't want that because I already knew this type of knife. Now I will say this, like the Demco, the 20S, that's a different story because I got one and I'm like, I liked it so much I got the other one, and I like them both. But as far as what I do for work, I feel like the Tanto blade, I'm like, it's kind of weird to me. I don't like sharpening Tanto blades. If you break the tip off of this, you can reprofile it, you know, I don't know. But that's just what I wanted. And I didn't want the regular blade because I just like the way this one looks. Probably over time it's going to chip up a little bit, but you know, it'll just give some character to the knife, because I'm sure over time as I'm using it, because I'm using this at work, I had this at work all week, and it's just so cool because you open this knife up and people look at it and they're like, holy crap, you know. It's one of those knives that looks like you're ready for action. And I will say this, sometimes you have this knife gets hyped up over time, and for whatever reason, I know there's a couple different reasons it happens. I think the main reason it happens is because the knife is really, really good, and a lot of people like it, and people that review it, people, you know, see it. Not necessarily me, but like the bigger channels, people see these bigger channels, these people that review these knives, and the hype gets up there because a bunch of other people comment, not just them, but a bunch of other people comment and say, yeah, I got this knife, it's great, it's great, it's great, it's great, you know, kind of like the Microtech Malibu. The Malibu's a great knife. I own several of those. The juice is worth the squeeze, so to speak. It's definitely a cult knife for a reason. This is definitely a cult knife for a reason. And, you know, over time too, and trust me, if I'd had opportunity, I would have got one anyways. But I always thought it was kind of weird because, you know, it does have the little breaker on the back. You know, it is kind of shaped a little weird right there when it's closed. But I tell you what, when you get this thing in your hand, and you feel the texturing, and it's only blade down or pocket down carry, you know, pretty much right hand only. You can say you can open it with your left hand, but It's pretty much blunt right there, and it's got the little easy excess opening right there. So it's really hard to open left-handed. I don't even try because I don't want to drop the freaking knife on my foot trying to open it. But it's just something about this knife. It does have little tiny spots I don't like. Like I don't like where this, see where that's thinner. It's hard to see right here because it's painted in, but or coated, whatever you want to call it. There you go. So if you go above this, your finger can slide off pretty easily, but you have so much leverage right there because it's a thicker base, and the way they have it textured, it's not that big of a deal. And then they have the, you know, texturing right here, but all the stippling and stuff they have on this, just the way it feels, the way it looks, it's just a badass knife, to be honest with you. I mean, it really is. And I see why so many people like them, because yeah, you get the thing and it's like the clip's only one spot, and it's like, it's just a regular right hand open. That was my fault. I had my back of my finger on it, but it's, you know, what's so special about it? I don't know. I really don't know, but it's something about it. And then when you get it past the breaking point, I don't know, man. It's just something about the knife. Once you get it in your hand, it's a larger knife than most people carry. It's a larger knife than I carry. It just makes you feel like you're almost ready for action. Like I would say this is like a John Wick style of knife. You know what I mean? It's just thick and bulky, and it's got texturing, and it just looks badass when it's open, man. It's like a freaking Spartan blade type of thing, you know? It's just a badass knife, so to speak. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it really, about the feel, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing with the ProTech Malibu. It's just an aluminum scaled flipper knife. But it's just badass, man. The way it opens, the way it feels, everything about the knife. That's why it's a cult following knife to me. This is a cult knife. I don't know how to really hold it on camera because it does look kind of weird when it's closed, to be honest with you. This little boat tail they have down here. But yeah, it really is. And I would say 99% of the time when these knives get these cult followings, it's because they're actually worth it. And the second reason, this is what I was getting to. Sorry, it took me long. I'm kind of rambling because I'm excited about this knife, to be honest with you, because it took me so long to get. And the scarcity of them has a lot to do with that too. I don't think it's that some people think they're doing it on purpose. I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I think they could help themselves doing it, like Microtech, for instance. I feel like they make so many OTF knives. And I know, yeah, people buy them and all this stuff, but you can go on any website and there's 50 OTF knives that Microtech makes that are on there. They could scale down the OTF production, put more Malibus out there, put more Socom Elites out there if they really wanted to, you know what I mean? But for whatever reason, they're not doing it. They would pretty much have to shut down OTF production for a while and ramp these up, so more of them could be out, and less of them could be out. But I don't think they're having a problem selling anything, so I don't think it's a big deal to them. There's another reason for that, like you have Three Rivers Manufacturing and Demco as well, you know. They're a small, I don't know how big of a company Demco is. I know they make stuff in Taiwan too, so that's kind of a different story altogether. But that's kind of what I'm getting at. The stuff they're making here in the United States, they don't have a huge factory. TRM makes stuff for other people too. But TRM, they're not going to just say, you know what, let's just outsource everything, get it made in another country so we can keep up with demand. They're keeping their knives in-house, or the quality controls in-house. They're making everything in the United States. I applaud them for that. I really do. Because nowadays, and this is why, and I did a video on it last month or a couple weeks ago, where I'm not buying a bunch of budget knives. The main reason because of that, like these guys are making their knives themselves. Yes, they do have another one that they're making overseas, I know, and it's more money. It's the Alpha, I think. I ain't getting that knife. It ain't worth it to me. I'd rather buy one United States in-house. But when you don't have the production and the means, the scarcity is there because you just can't keep up with production. But 90% of these new knife companies coming out, they have, okay, we're going to start a knife company. Let's just contact and call somebody in China and have them make our knives, and we're just sending them some blueprints to make our knives. That's a knife company? That's not a knife company. To me, a knife company, I mean, yeah, you can do that, and you can you know, get with other people and have them make knives and different things back and forth. I understand that because, you know, you got several people kind of make knives for other people and stuff like that. I'm not going against that or anything, but it's like, to me, you know, you're basically feeding the beast, so to speak, and just having a company, calling it a knife company, and you're just getting a bunch of stuff made over here. So to me, you have all these new knife companies coming out, and they're getting made in most of the same places in China. And you can tell that because they're all kind of similar, and that's a new knife company. I don't think so. That's just my opinion, though. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on that and what you think about the, I can't remember what the hell it's called, the Microtech Socom. I was going to start ready to say Socom Alpha because I just said that, but Socom Elite, if you have one. I'm excited to get this knife. I'm excited to have it. I'm going to have this knife forever, like a lot of the ones I have now. So this is JC again. Let me know what you think.